All right, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We continue with cricket now. Rain played spoiler to what was turning out to be an exciting final day of the third test between Australia and India at the Gabba in Brisbane, with a match eventually petering out to a draw as only 22 overs were possible on the day to leave the series level at 1-1. Day 5 began with India resuming their innings on 252 for 9. They added 8 to their overnight total before being dismissed for 260 to give Australia a 185-run first innings advantage. Australia in their second innings attempted to force a result, and in the 18 overs they batted, they reached 89 for 7 before declaring, leaving India 275 runs to get in 54 overs. But only 2.1 overs were possible before bad light and then rain brought an end to proceedings, with India reaching 8 without loss. Now, speaking at the post-match press conference, India spinner Ravi Ashwin, as a shock to many, revealed he will be retiring from international cricket in all 3 formats with immediate effect.
This is about myself. Honestly, I think it would have been better if Bumrah was here or Akashdeep was here, but Rohit is unfortunate to have me along his side. Since he said announced, I'm not going to take too much of your time. This will be my last day as an Indian cricketer in all formats at the international level. I do feel there's a bit of punch left in me as a cricketer, but I would like to expose and probably showcase that in club level cricket, but this will be the last day, and I've had a lot of fun. I must say I've created a lot of memories alongside Rohit and several of my other teammates, even though I've lost some of them over the last few years. We are the last bunch of OGs, if we can say that, left out in the dressing room, and I would be marking this as my date of having played at this level. Obviously, there are a lot of people to thank, but I would be failing in my duties if I didn't thank the BCCI and fellow teammates. Several of them. I want to name a few of them. So all the coaches who've been in part of the journey. Most importantly, Rohit, Virat, Ajinkya, Pujara, who've taken those splendid catches around the bat to give me the number of wickets I've managed to get over the years. Also, a big thank you to the Australian cricket team, who've been very fierce competitors. I've enjoyed my time playing against them. And I think it's already getting long. I wouldn't be taking any questions, but it's truly a very emotional moment. I don't think I'm in a position where I would be answering the questions in the right way. So please pardon me for that. And once again, yeah, that's my time. Thanks for being the journalist that you've been, writing good things and of course writing nasty things on occasions. That's a relationship I think we would maintain forever, and I hope the cricketers to come in the future will also get the same amount of love that you've given them. Once again, thank you all, and yeah, see you all soon. As a cricketer, I just stopped it, and I might go on to be involved with the game because this is a game that's given me everything. Right, thank you.
Yeah, last set of old guys left. All right, Ashwin finishes his test career with 537 wickets from 106 matches, placing him 7th on the all-time wicket takers list. Now, joining us is our cricket analyst, Fazir Mohammed. Fazir, welcome to the SportsMax Zone for another day. What did you make of the announcement from Ravi Ashwin? Did it surprise you? Did it shock you? Did you see it coming any at all?
Didn't see it coming, but it wasn't shocking, probably surprising. It's how to term it, with 2 test matches still to go. But I think, as we heard from Rohit Sharma just before, there was the dialogue with the man who's now retiring, of course, Ravi Ashwin. They had that discussion in Perth when he wasn't picked for the first test match, and Sharma had just arrived, having missed that first test. So I think Ashwin recognized that he was no longer going to be a regular in the Indian test team, and given him being such a competitive individual, I think that's one of the things that stick out with Ravi Ashwin as a cricketer, batting, bowling, in the field. He's very, very intense, and I don't think, even at this stage of his career, probably wanting a nice swan song, maybe like Melbourne, 90,000 on the first day, Boxing Day in a week's time. I think he felt that, look, I don't want to be just on the sidelines looking on. I want to be in the middle. And if I don't feel I'm going to be in the middle regularly, it's time to step away.
Yeah, Rohit Sharma said that, you know, he felt Ravi Ashwin deserved to go out on his own terms. Was this the only way he was going to get the opportunity to go out on his own terms?
I think so, because again, that term "own terms" is a weighted thing. Because again, should anybody be allowed to dictate? I mean, Jimmy Anderson was given a glorious farewell, and he's still vexed. because he felt that he was pushed out and he wants to keep on playing and so on. But again, it's a reminder that the game is bigger than any individual. And yes, with tremendous contributions, outstanding career, you want there to be that dialogue that allows for a graceful farewell. But at the end of it all, it could never be purely on your own terms.
Yeah, a stunning career, one that has been described, well, he's been described as a true match winner. Is that how you'll remember Ravi Ashwin?
Absolutely, no question about it. If you look at his numbers, his strike rate, 52 balls per wicket, is bettered only among top Indian bowlers by Jasprit Bumrah at 42. So that in itself tells you, even Anil Kumble, who's at the top of the list with over 600 test wickets, doesn't have that same wicket-taking rate. So yes, there's no question that Ravi Ashwin is arguably, if not the greatest spinner who has represented India, and probably one of the greatest of all time, given the likes of Shane Warne and Murali around and so on in the consideration. But certainly the numbers, over 5 wickets per test match, talks about not just world-class, but elite-level performer. And certainly Ravi Ashwin is that.
Yeah, and definitely also a world-class person, Faz, because today I was listening. So one of the things I always tend to look at after a person retires or announces their retirement is the type of responses or the type of tributes that they get, right? There are some of those that, you know, they only talk about the stats, the numbers, the game, just what the person did when it came to the particular sport. But what I noticed from looking at these different tributes today is a lot of people spoke about him as a person. And one of those persons was Harsha Bhogle, and he spoke about when he was going through a rough patch in his career as a journalist, a commentator, and, you know, everybody was attacking him, basically probably saying that he didn't know what he was talking about. And he gave this example where, of course, Ashwin came up to him, reached out to him and asked him if he wanted to sit and have a discussion about finger spinning and just spin bowling and everything. And he didn't do it in a way that, you know, would make Harsha feel a type of way. He basically was trying to help him indirectly. And, you know, today in that tribute, it spoke volumes also to his character off the field.
Yeah, very magnanimous in that sense, and you might recall as well where he absented himself from a test match just over a year ago, attending to a member of his family who was not well at the time, and he got the support of his teammates. On the other hand, though, and I think we need to look at all sides of it, it seems to be a common subtext when you hear former, international cricketers or international sports persons talk about the media, as he just did, where he said, you see a lot of good things and some horrible things as well. It's almost as if it's expected that you're supposed to support the player or support the team, which again reflects a level of ignorance as to the role of the media, and indeed our own ignorance as media personalities as well, with many of us being fans of the game rather than impartial observers of the game. But in relation to your specific point, I think a lot of the tributes will also reflect on that edginess to Ravi Ashwin. You'll recall that he was condemned for running out, I think it was Joss Butler backing up in an IPL match.
Yeah.
And you had that, again, that white hegemony about, you know, this not being part of the game, and it's against the spirit of the game and so on, this bogus morality that they try to impose on everyone else. And Ashwin said, well, look, that's your business. This is part of the game. The batter is taking an unfair advantage, and I have a legitimate way of getting him out. How is that against the spirit of the game? And to me, that reflects what really Ravi Ashwin is about. Playing hard, playing fair, which the Aussies love to talk about, especially Ian Chappell and company, but they just don't seem to like it when it doesn't suit their own particular brand of morality.
Yeah, and outspoken he was, and very, very in-your-face kind of player, Faz. And you just referenced the fact that when players of that elite level retire in the middle of a series, you would always have question marks. I remember Michael Holding retiring at the start of a New Zealand Test series back in 1987, and it was a bit of a surprise as well because of who Michael Holding was. But it sort of overshadowed the announcement last night of Faz, what happened on the field, because it was pretty topsy-turvy, wasn't it? And maybe if there wasn't rain, we could have been here having a completely different discussion.
Absolutely. And I think the rain was the spoil sport to everything, because all that happened, the 80-something for 7 and so on, had to do with Australia desperately trying to get runs against a world-class bowler like Jasprit Bumrah. So at the end of it all, in ordinary condition, let's say, for example, there was not a drop of rain, Australia would have been probably well on their way to a dominating victory, would have probably achieved it already. But it didn't happen because the rain changed those dynamics, changed the way things went. You mean India saved the follow-on and there was great celebration because of how much time had already been lost. If it had been a normal course of things, they would have been really mindful that Australia would have had probably a day and a half to bat and then set an unassailable target. So yes, all of what went on yesterday would have been predicated by the realities of the weather.
Well, I tell you what, fans, one team that will be happy to see Ravi Ashwin go is the West Indies, and specifically the West Indies bowlers, because he did score 4 of his 6 Test centuries against the Caribbean side. So I'm sure somewhere across the Caribbean, someone is saying good riddance. Faz, as usual, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll chat again soon.
Sure, take care.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.